You ever look in the mirror and feel the person staring back is a stranger wearing your face? That's awakening. Not the pretty Instagram version, the real version. The one that bulldozes your identity, rips the roof off your life, and leaves you standing in the rubble thinking, who the hell am I now? People think awakening is all light and cosmic downloads, and, nobody talks about the grief, the death of the old self, the quiet panic when the mask falls off and you realize you don't even know how to exist without it anymore. I spent years being a version of myself that was digestible, helpful, polished, the one that kept the peace, answered the calls, handled the people, carried the emotional labor like it was part of my job description until one day it just wasn't suitable anymore. The old me tapped out. She was done. She didn't ask for permission. She just left. And the world kept spinning without her. The truth is, when the old version of you is gone, you don't glow up. You detox. You disorient. You mourn. You stand in the silence of the aftershock. Rebuilding starts with admitting that something ended, not something shifted, not something evolved. Something died, a full identity expiration date you didn't know you had. And I started small, tiny, microscopic even. I rebuilt by asking myself questions instead of trying to be the answer for everyone else. I rebuilt learning the difference between intuition and anxiety. I rebuilt by, choosing nervous system safety over emotional performance. And I rebuilt by setting boundaries that felt mean at first, but were actually mercy. I rebuilt by letting healing be quiet and internal and unobserved. I learned that the rubble wasn't punishment. It was raw material. Broken pieces of life I outgrew, waiting to be repurposed into something truer. You don't rebuild your life by recreating the old one. You rebuild by composting her, letting her become fertilizer for the next shelf and the next self. The one who doesn't perform healing like a public service announcement, or, it's just the one that trusts herself even when the path doesn't look like the path yet. And, if you're in the rubble too, hear me clearly. You're not lost. You're unbecoming. There's a difference. Lost is accidental, and becoming is surgical, intentional, and necessary. You rebuild yourself in a world that trained you not to. You rebuild by listening to the whisper instead of waiting for the sign. You rebuild by, letting the light in without burning your nervous system to the ground. And most of all, you rebuild by trusting the truth of your own timing. Messy, slow, unfiltered, and sacred.